Are you sick and tired of the uncertainty that comes with building a real estate business the old school way? Then welcome to the Client Alchemist Show, where we give you the strategies, mindset, and specific how-tos you need to attract your ideal clients, create more leverage in your business, and most importantly, have more peace of mind. Here's your host, Josh Schoenly.
What's up, and welcome back once again to the Client Alchemist Show. This is Josh Schoenly, and this is part 4 in a 4-part series that you've been listening into with Sean Nilsson, co-founder of City Blast. Not only co-founder of City Blast, but also a former top producer in real estate, a speaker and blogger, and all-around social media real estate guru. And in episode 1, we went into Sean's story, how he was able to, in his first year, leveraging the concept of inbound marketing, was able to do 24 deals and over $160,000 in gross commissions just from his Facebook wall. In episode 2, we dig into inbound marketing. What is it and why it is so critical and vital for you as a real estate professional to be using inbound marketing to grow your business. In episode 3, we go into outsourcing and the things you need to look for when you're outsourcing your inbound marketing, your social media marketing, and why you should use City Blast for that very thing, for outsourcing your inbound marketing and social media. On today's call, in today's episode, we're going to go and dig into some of the most frequently asked questions that we hear from our listeners, that we hear from our community about inbound marketing, social media, etc. And we address some of the most commonly held myths and dig into some questions that I think you all will find super helpful. So we're going to get right into it. Sean, should you post listings? Should someone listening, should they post listings on social media?
I mean, a lot of people will tell you that the answer is no, you shouldn't post listings. I tend to think a little differently. First of all, we've done 3 million plus social media posts at City Blast, so we've got the data and empirical evidence to back up some of these claims, and we found the majority of quality leads that convert actually come from posting lead-generating content, including listings. So what actually the question to ask yourself is it's not black and white per se. Should I post listings? Should I not post listings? The real question we should be asking ourselves is, how could I theoretically post a listing so that I'm not just marketing the heck out of this property to people and violating the inbound marketing strategy that we've already talked about quite a bit as being the best way to market myself through social? And the answer is, you need to treat your listings just like they're any other type of content and not like you're trying to sell them. And the way to do that is to create a great story and feature the listing as though you're featuring it to all of the people in your network who are not going to buy it. Rather than trying to drill down and focus on that 1 or 2 people who might see that listing and want to buy it, think about the 99%, the other people who would see that listing and only want to consume it as a piece of content with no interest in buying it, and you'll be successful. If you look at television, like Home and Garden Television, for example, and a number of other channels, they show shows that entirely feature listings. In fact, it's people going around looking at listings for the entire show.
Those are the most popular shows.
The concept of the show.
Yeah.
Correct. It's in fact, those are some of the most popular shows in the world are those shows. And people watch other people look at listings all day long. They show the price, they show the bed, bath, the good, the bad, whatever. It's a listing. And listings can be great content, but you need to treat them like content. And so don't post your listings thinking of them as a for sale. Think about the person who's going to want to go on the adventure. Imagine living there, walk through the home and all of that sort of thing. And you can then post listings successfully. And yes, they will still sell, and in fact sell better to the people who are interested in buying them. But you don't have to just annoy the world with posting, splashing up for sale signs all over your social media, which no one wants to see. The other thing we've discovered is You don't want to post a listing more often than 33% of the time, 1/3 of the time. So if you're going to post listings, make sure that you split them up with a couple of other pieces of content that are just tips, tricks, guides, articles, videos, whatever. Don't be super listing focused so that your feed just becomes all listings either. Yeah,
I love that. I don't think I ever heard you describe it quite that way. Creating the listing, thinking about and making it attractive to and interesting and engaging to the vast majority of people who are not going to actually buy the listing. And in doing so, it's so contradictory, but in doing so, you will get dramatically better results versus simply saying, hey, look at my new listing, turning it into a story, turning it into content. Man, that is really, really good. And we also, we kind of agree on the percent too, because no matter how good of a job you do that, it still can be perceived as more of a direct sort of marketing type of post. And so, the best practice that we tell our folks is 80-20. So 80% of the time, interesting, engaging, helpful, useful content, and 20% more call to action related. But you can, like you said, you need to be strategic with all of that content, including your listings. Make them interesting, make them engaging, turn them into a story. I love that. That's really, really good stuff. So next question. Should you be talking about yourself on social media?
Yeah, so a lot of people will teach you how to talk about yourself in social media and how to, craft the conversation around yourself and all this stuff. Throw it out the window. Just don't focus on yourself at all. How about that? What they're really trying to do with all this crafty ideas is figure out how to do something you shouldn't be doing in the first place. That's why it's so challenging to craft messaging about yourself through social. It's because you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. It's hard to get into Fort Knox for a reason, because you're not supposed to be doing it. And it's the same thing with social media. Don't talk about yourself. People get it. If you post great value-added real estate content that's going to keep other people engaged, it's focused on them, it's on their level, it's things that might be of interest to them, people are going to understand that you're a real estate expert. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to stop you in the street and talk to you about real estate and so on. They're going to get it. The message is being received. You don't need to bash people over the head with it in order for them to understand that you're a real estate professional. So don't talk about yourself. Talk in terms of other people's interests. Use inbound marketing, added value content that's of interest to the other person.
Yeah, what's in it for them? Make it interesting for them, that little paradigm shift will dramatically help your results. Next question: should you market to your friends and family? Let's say.
So it's another one that I hear a lot of people say is I've heard that Facebook is for your friends and you shouldn't market to your friends. I mean, I have two answers for that. One is the pragmatic, practical answer, and the other is sort of the more touchy-feely answer. The pragmatic answer is this. The average real estate commission is $5,000 and change per deal that you do. And you should be able to do 2 or more deals per year through your Facebook pretty easily by staying consistent and on top of your social. Is that an insane amount of deals? I was able to do 24 deals in my first year, and then as I built out a team, we did more deals than that when I was a practicing real estate agent. You can do way more, but let's start with 2. Imagine you could do 2 deals in a year. So you're looking at $10,000, $11,000 in commission available to you just by staying consistent through your social media channels. If I said to you today, hey, would you pay $10,000 or $11,000 a year for a Facebook account? You would say, you're insane. I would turn off my Facebook in a second if Facebook started charging $10,000 or $11,000. But if you're not going to use your Facebook to market to your friends, family, and network connections, you're doing the exact same thing. You're sacrificing an opportunity cost of $10,000 or $11,000 at minimum just to have your Facebook remain completely untouched by anything real estate. And the better answer, the more touchy-feely answer is you don't have to make the choice anyway, which is good. Instead of focusing on marketing to your friends, use inbound marketing. So now you're giving people content that they value. If I post an article up about, the top 10 renovations I could do under $1,000 for maximum ROI on my home, how does that compare with someone who's not a real estate agent posting an article about, 5 ways that you can improve the air quality in your home, or any other thing that any person could just randomly post up? There's actually no difference. You are going to focus on posting great, valuable, interesting things that other people can consume, that they're interested in, they like. These are cool articles, videos, information. You're going to just give them exactly what they want, and you're, in a sense, not even marketing to them. It's almost like unmarketing, because you're going to do exactly what you're supposed to do on Facebook, which is post great content that other people might be interested in and push the conversation forward. So should you market to your friends, family, network, and so on? Absolutely you should, as long as it's unmarketing, aka inbound marketing, which is the only strategy you should be using in social media.
So, I'm sure many of the folks listening have experienced a situation where you hear about a friend or maybe even family member who bought or sold real estate and didn't call you. And so, the pain of that and the realization that you can market to them in a way that isn't, pestering or begging or chasing after them, using inbound marketing, I hope for many of you is sort of a revelation and a relief to a certain degree, that, you won't feel like you're losing out on opportunity, and you won't also feel, cheap or sleazy, for lack of a better term, because you're using inbound marketing versus, the traditional means that gurus and coaches and brokers have been, telling you to do for years and years, which is that chasing and begging after. You don't have to do that stuff. And because you don't, and because you can be smarter and do a better job of that, you can feel comfortable in marketing to those people. So last major question is, and we've touched on this in part 3 of this 4-part series, but should you outsource or should you do it yourself?
Yeah, so we talked about this one last time as well. Great question. A lot of experts and so on in the past used to say, oh, no, social media, keep it authentic. It's got to be your own voice and so on and so forth. And we talked about this before. Coca-Cola's CEO is not manning the battle stations on Coca-Cola's Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn account. And neither is Nike's. And you can go way down the line. Large businesses, medium businesses, small businesses. The reason that real estate agents do their own social media is because they are a sole proprietorship and there is no one else to do it. But it is still a business. Don't confuse the fact that you are a sole proprietor, i.e. your business is in your personal name, with the fact that it's a business. It's separate from you as a human being. And businesses have suppliers, businesses have agencies, businesses have outsources to help them with things and to help them do things better than they can do them on their own. And the head of a company is not doing every single component of that company, and nor should you, as a real estate agent, be doing every single component of your real estate business when there is a suitable outsource. There's a rule, they call it the 70% rule, which says if someone else can do something at least 70% as well as you can do it in business, they should do it. And that's a rule for delegation, which tells you when you should do a task or when someone else should do a task. I would argue that an outsource, be it City Blast or whomever, who's worth their salt should be able to do it better than 100% as well as you, because they've done it a whole bunch before and know what they're doing better than you do. Unless you're a pretty sharp social media person, you are honestly not going to do social media better than the experts, for example, at City Blast, who've done 3 million Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn status updates and tracked all of the results of them to date. It's just not reasonable to think that you would. So why not outsource to someone who can do this better, who can stay consistent? And you've got a lot of things that require your attention that are way more rooted to you being physically there, physically manifest, than is your social media. For example, meeting with clients, being at open houses, networking in person, driving people around and talking to them, building those relationships, crafting deals, all of the things that you have to do on a daily basis. There's just not enough room for you to do every single thing in your real estate business. And it's funny because, you know, your accountant does your accounting and your lawyer does your legal, and the printer prints your flyers and the mail person drops them off. You don't do all of those things. And I think people have conflated together, accidentally combined the idea that social media is some sort of special realm where you're not able to use leverage, and it's a fiction. Absolutely. People should be outsourcing their social media and, moreover, any area of their business where someone else can cost effectively do at least 70% as good a job as that person, so that they can focus on the other areas and work harder and better at the things that they only they can really do for their business.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. I've been totally, wholeheartedly convinced and been completely on board with you, Sean, and with City Blast since I first heard of it in 2011. We've been shouting from the rooftops to anyone who would listen that you should be using City Blast, even if you are that 1/10 of 1% who might be able to do a better job locally doing this. You still should be outsourcing because your time is best spent elsewhere in your business. You owe it to your business to do that. So if you haven't already, you need to go to clientalchemist.com/CB. Go to clientalchemist.com/CB. Scroll down the page, enter your email address. It'll say, where do you want City Blast to send your leads? Enter your email address, click the button, complete the sign up process. And when you do that, you will be getting a free 14-day trial and locking in a 30% discount for the life of your City Blast account. So go do that right now. You have nothing to lose. If you do have questions, if you're confused about something, about either what City Blast does or in general, you can reach out to me, Josh at clientalchemist.com. If it's a City Blast specific question, their number is at the top right of the page when you go to clientalchemist.com/CB. It's right there, front and center. Their email is on the page. They're super responsive. It's real live human beings in North America. Not only are they, not only is that who is doing your inbound marketing for you, but if you reach out to them, if you need help, if you have support, same deal there. It's real live human beings right here in North America who will help and support you. Sean, I'm so grateful for you carving out some time to spend with our listeners over the last 4-part series. If this is the first time you're listening into this series, go back and listen to episodes 1, 2, and 3. Check those out. I know that you're going to find them extremely valuable. And before you even do that, go and lock in your free 14-day trial and your 30% discount right now. Right now, do that. Sean, thanks so much. We appreciate your time. And I appreciate your friendship. Like I said, I've known Sean now since 2011. I have been continually impressed with the level of service that City Blast has provided and their commitment to continuing to innovate and adjust and adapt as these different platforms adapt. So you can feel, you can feel at home, you can feel comfortable putting your trust in Sean and in City Blast as a company. Go over to clientalchemist.com/CB. Thanks for listening in, and we'll be back next week.
That's all for this episode of the Client Alchemist Show. Be sure to visit the website for more exclusive content, tools, and strategies to help you implement the Client Alchemist mindset. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss a moment of how to turn your struggle into success.